How is it?
It is really good.
Oh.
I was a little skeptical, I'm not gonna lie.
I wasn't expecting you to say that.
It is really yummy.
Okay.
Like, I will be making this again.
Okay.
I'm pleasantly surprised. Hello, and welcome to Spooky Sips, where we put our love of horror movies into a podcast and sip some spirits along the way. I'm one of your hosts, Yvette, here with my co-hosts, Laura and Brianna.
Hello.
Hey. Okay, so I have been trying to get us to watch this movie since we started Spooky Sips. And spooky season is the perfect time. So tonight we watched Jennifer's Body. 2009, Megan Fox. If you haven't heard of it, I don't believe you, because there's no way you haven't heard of this movie.
I've heard of it.
What?
Yeah. No,
Wild.
yeah.
Okay, well, if you're over the age of 30 and you haven't heard of it, maybe I should clarify. If you were a teenager when this movie came out and you haven't heard of it, I don't believe you. How about that? It's about these two girls that are best friends in high school, and there's this local band that kidnaps one of them, and it goes awry. And the movie's about that.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
It's so fun. Like, this is such a fun movie.
It's such a fun movie.
So, okay, obviously, you've seen it before. Do
Yes.
you remember the first time you watched it?
Mm-hmm. I watched it when it came out because I graduated high school in 2007. So I was still like in my like late teens when this came out. And like, it just really captures that era, because what a weird time the world was.
Yeah.
And like that
Early
era, real weird.
Mhm.
Like, but so I went to the theater with a few friends and we watched it, and I was in love. I was
How
in
could
love.
you not be, right?
Yeah. And then I watched it again in my 20s, like a few years ago. And it held up because I was like, maybe it won't be the same watching it back. No, it was even better. So yeah.
I will agree with you on that. I think the second watch is better. So you forced me to watch this movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
I love this movie.
And I have to say, I didn't love it. Like, I liked it and it was fun, but I didn't quite connect with it very well the first time. I must say so I watched it for the second time for this episode, and I liked it a lot more the second time. So maybe it's one of those ones where you got to watch it twice to really get the full impact.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah. No, I watched it, and my plan was to watch. I started really late at night. So my plan was I'll just watch half of it, or like get to a good stopping point and then watch the rest of it the next day.
Yeah.
And I just stayed up late. I was like, no, I'm just gonna, I was like, I'll watch a little more. And like, oh, I'll watch a little more. Oh, like a little more. And I was like, okay, I have 20 minutes left. I'm just
That's how it gets you.
Yep.
Can't help it.
Because it's quick.
It's fast paced.
Yeah, like it's fast paced. And like, once you get especially to the end, like it's like you just need to finish watching it.
You can't leave it on a cliffhanger. Like, you got to know how this goes down.
Yeah.
Because like, as we jump into it, the beginning of the movie gets you because it's one of those movies where it has a scene from the aftermath of it, and it starts you there, and then it goes back in time. And I think those are always fun if they're done well.
Yeah.
So we see, what was her friend's name in the movie? Her character name?
Nettie.
Yeah, like Anita or something, but they called her Needy. Like, her
Needy,
nickname was
it was
Needy.
like Annette or so. Yeah, it was Needy.
Oh, yeah,
that's right. Okay.
And that's Amanda Seyfried. Is that how you say her name?
I feel like that's right.
Sounds right.
Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's so typical, and we'll get into this when we talk through the movie, but of course, she is just as much in the movie as Megan Fox, but does anyone mention Amanda Seyfried? No. They all talk about Megan Fox.
Because she has frizzy hair and glasses, so she's like the ugly friend. Like,
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, clearly she's not gorgeous.
But I will say, to defend my girl, it is because there has never been a more attractive movie character to exist than Megan Fox character.
Yeah. She is the perfect person. Like, she's gorgeous.
I can't imagine anyone else playing that role. Honestly.
Me neither.
Like, it's so perfect for Megan Fox.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it starts with Nettie, and she's in jail. And she's kind of this hard ass. Like, she's kind of got this tough exterior.
Well, and she starts with, I wrote down many quotes, so I'm just going to interject the quotes as we talk about those parts of the movie. And one of the first impactful quotes from this movie is, "Hell is a teenage girl." And oh my God, if that isn't true.
Amen.
No, that was the perfect line.
Amen.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Yep. Or that might have been, so I think the very first scene is we see Megan Fox watching infomercials and it says something like, "Hell is a teenage girl." And then it comes to Needy in the psych ward.
Yeah. And yeah, she's in a mental hospital. And she's kind of like,
I loved this scene. Like, the intro to her.
I know. It's so, and she's just kind of alluding to like what she's come out of, you know, and where she's at now.
But I think the scene for me was like, I felt like I was getting an idea of what this movie was. Like, you know, I was like, okay, like, you know, I feel like maybe I know where this is going, like from the beginning. And then she throws out that she's a kicker.
Yeah.
Of Needy.
And at first I even turned to Laura because I forgot. And I was like, "A what?"
Yeah. She's like, "I'm a kicker." And even says it in my notes. It's like, you see the thing, it's just like kicker. And it's like, oh, okay, this is funny. And then one of the employees at the mental health hospital that she's in, like, comes up to her and she just nails this one. Like, she absolutely kicks the hell out of this woman.
Like across the room.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone. She's toast.
She's so small, like just as a person. I mean, she probably weighs like 84 pounds. She's so small and she is so aggressive.
Yep. I love it.
Just so much. And I was like, okay, no, I didn't know where this movie was going. And I love it, actually. I love this.
Yeah. Yep. Totally. And so then she just start to tell the story?
Yeah. And I think then we just get into it. Like, I think it's just a transitional.
Yeah, I think so.
Because then I just wrote that, they show a clip of, you know, something ends up happening and we get to it later at the Devil's Kettle waterfall.
Right.
Which is really cool because it's just this really cool waterfall that like ends up in this kind of whirlwind thing in their area. And I just thought, man, I want to go there. That's so cool.
It's in Minnesota. I think.
It's in Minnesota.
Yeah.
It's a real place?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I can't remember.
To the Spooky Sips road trip.
I can't remember like what it is. It's that do you remember that? Like
I think they think it like goes into like a glacial kind of pothole or some sort of like underground river. So the scientists aren't as baffled as they are in the movie. But I did love the scene of where it's like the scientists have no idea where it goes, and it's like them throwing balls.
Trying to like get the balls to come back out. Right.
Yeah.
Very scientific.
Gosh. You guys, we have to go and do a ritual there.
Absolutely.
During our road trip. I'm very excited about this. I thought it was fake. This is very exciting.
On a very random note, we had on Instagram, someone had a post about like, what would you want with $1 million? And so as Spooky Sips, we responded that like, we have a dream of going on a spooky cross-country road trip for the podcast. And a lot of people were very excited about this for us. And they were like, you just need to start a Patreon and start like funding your road trip.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, so the Patreon is happening.
We just need to share our list of the probably now hundreds of places.
Yeah, it's going to be like it'll be like a decade-long cross-country trip.
Yes.
We're all going to have to take a leave of absence.
Yeah.
From our lives and jobs.
I'm ready. So whenever you guys, I'm here.
All right. So these are my notes in order. You guys ready for them? Okay. So after we get our introduction to the Devil's Kettle, I wrote, low ride jeans. Did somebody say Phil Collins? And salty equals beautiful. Then I wrote, your
Jennifer calls everything salty.
Yeah, salty means that it's beautiful or like
the low rise jeans were painful.
And it's funny because I had some of the lowest low-rise jeans. Like I was all about them because that was just,
No, it's the style. Yeah.
Yeah. So uncomfortable.
I have never
sit down
because I have a gut, so I have never participated.
May they never come back.
But
I know they will because everything does. But
I know
they kind of came back a little bit, but they're not as extreme. The ones that are kind of out floating around right now are the last.
Like listeners, if you're young and don't know, just Google Paris Hilton low-rise jeans because hers were like literally 2 inches above her legs or her. Yeah, I don't understand. Like,
no, it was wild.
Yeah,
it was wild.
But again, just a perfect slice of 2009.
Yes,
exactly.
Because they're just in the school hall, like Needy and her, and like we're kind of getting an idea of like their friendship. That Needy is kind of the one that is like really holding on to it, and Megan Fox's character is more like carefree and kind of just like bops around, and she's not as
popular.
Yeah. And I mean, we can just be honest about like what they were like. Okay, so Megan Fox's character, Jennifer, she's embracing her sluttiness. You know what I mean? Like she's
owning it.
She's owning it, like she is what she is and she likes being that way. So she's definitely pretty and likes the attention from everyone and likes being with lots of boys and getting that attention versus Needy is just kind of in the background.
Yeah, a little bit more quiet. We also immediately get like a lesbian joke, and there is that like tension in the movie.
Oh, like they say like Needy, lesbian, like
of like Needy having like a crush on.
Oh no, the
Jennifer.
sexual tension in this movie
between those two
is wild.
Yes. Yeah, this movie I would say is definitely aimed at anyone who is attracted to women.
Yes.
So whether you are a man attracted to woman, a woman attracted to women, a woman attracted to man who just can appreciate that women are beautiful.
Right.
Because that's kind of where I'm at.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's just
no, there was an awakening with this movie for me. I'm here for it. Yep. And we get into it pretty quick because don't they go to the concert? Like,
she's like,
we should say Needy has a boyfriend, Tom, and we meet him. So he's there too. But they go to the concert.
Yeah, Jennifer wants to go meet the singer of this band. Then she checked out their MySpace.
Yeah,
I miss MySpace.
Bring back MySpace. Honestly, it was so fun. We aren't having enough fun with social media.
We don't have enough coding,
Yes,
to put our favorite song in there. Like,
we were all learning basic coding.
Oh man!
Like you can have the mouse be something fun while you moved around.
Oh my god!
People had music when you got to their page.
And like how you have your top 8 friends, like how fucking toxic. Like here are the people I like. Like if you got in a fight with your friend, you would like knock her down.
Not
a couple
anymore.
like.
It was it was very cruel, honestly.
It was a weird time to grow up, you guys.
You know what I wonder about though? Because I never deactivated my MySpace. I never signed out. I just kind of
When was the last time I was on MySpace? Yeah. I don't think I knew it was my last
So
time.
A few years ago, I tried to go find my profile because I was like, I never deleted it. I just stopped.
Is it still there?
I couldn't find it a few years ago.
I assumed they would just
still there.
Deleted MySpace, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did they rebrand? Are they something else?
That would have been amazing.
Let's just go to myspace.com on live on air.
Spooky Sips. We'll start a MySpace page.
I just see pictures of Dolly Parton. It's like news or celebrities and stuff.
Oh, weird.
Oh. Like a Daily Mail kind of thing?
Oh, wait. And now it says you can sign in with Facebook.
Oh, so they just get acquired by Meta.
I mean, isn't that what happens to everything?
But there are profiles of people. Interesting. Yeah, it's kind of more like news and connected to Facebook now. Interesting.
Weird.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, anyway.
So yeah, they go to the club, and it's cute because like Nettie is dressing up. Needy. What do we call her? Needy. Okay, Nettie. Sorry.
Think of her being like a needy friend.
Okay. Yeah, so it's an unsubtle nickname.
And she's like getting dressed in front of her boyfriend, and I just love this scene where she's like saying that like she has to dress up hot enough that she can hang out with Jennifer, but not so hot that she threatens Jennifer. Like she can't have her tits out because that's Jennifer's thing, so she has to just show her stomach. Yeah. Like I loved the self-awareness.
Like she was like, I know the rules. These are the rules.
Mm-hmm.
I also love the line, and I again, like everyone talks about how like hot Megan Fox is because she is, but she's funny. Like in order to deliver some of these lines, like you have to be funny. And like I for some reason it was the line where they were leaving, and obviously the boyfriend wasn't coming with them, and Jennifer just says like, oh, you're totally jello. You're lime green jello, and you can't even admit it to yourself. Like something about her delivery of that line, like it was so funny to me.
No, her timing is beautiful. It's perfect.
Oh,
yes. So she does a good job.
You're lime green jello.
You're lime green jello, and you can't admit it to yourself.
I loved it.
So they go to this like horrifying place that like I think almost every millennial has had an experience at this kind of place. And the emo vibe is just so alive and well in this movie. And the band is just, it's perfect. They're like dripping in emo.
Yeah.
And
the eyeliner is strong.
Eyeliner. So I've probably divulged this before on the podcast, but I have a weakness, and it is men in eyeliner. I don't know what it is about a man in eyeliner. I'm just like, that is so sexy. It's so weird, but I love a guy in eyeliner. So I was in love as well. I was just like Jennifer lusting after the lead singer.
And their name is Low Shoulder.
Oh my gosh.
And you guys, the song is so painfully cringe-worthy.
It is.
It sounds exactly right though for 2009.
Yeah, perfect.
Like I thought it was a real song, honestly.
Yeah, it is a real song. It is a real song. Like, it was for I think it was for the movie, but like
they like actually had it.
Like it's out.
Right.
Like you you can just like listen to the song.
Oh yeah. But like it sounded so right for that time.
It did. And I have to say too, because like they used the song then throughout the movie, and the first moment when, so Jennifer and Needy are watching, and it's like the emotional, like emo part of the song where it's kind of like building and then releasing, and like it's just dramatic. And it was actually like a really sweet moment, I thought.
Oh, it was.
They hold hands and they're like, oh, yay, like this is so fun. Like it was a really cute moment.
No, it was.
Then they use it later when they're like, running for stuff, and like it's a good song.
Because I think that like this movie does a really good job of showing us how they're at odds with one another as friends, and there's tension and contention there, but like they're friends for a reason, and we see that too. Like we see the high and low of their bond. I think like you always believe in that relationship. Like it always makes sense. You're never questioning it because you get the heart of it too.
Yeah. It definitely shows toxic female friendships very well.
Yes, it does.
It's like, are they toxic? Absolutely. Do we all understand why they're friends?
Because
also, yes.
What was it? There's a line about the sandbox because they met as little kids.
Yeah, they did.
It's like a cute line, something about like, I can't remember, but yeah. So they met when they were really little. Because it's got that small town vibe too. The movie. So yeah.
So then after the sweet moment, the club lights on fire.
Yeah.
Oh, and when I say club, okay, they referred to, or Jennifer referred to it as club when she was trying to make herself like seem like, she was going to a cooler place, not this like dinky bar in a small town. The club is really just
a bar.
Like in the sticks. Like, yeah. And it catches on fire really fast. Like, and it's horrifying. Like,
we immediately get our first several deaths, because you see people on fire, trying to run out, like trampling each other, trying to get out.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Chaos. But the lead singer, well, and right before that had happened, the people in the band were looking over at Needy and talking about the fact that they think they were going to pick her. And we don't know what for, but they know they're going to pick her because she clearly, because again, frizzy hair and glasses, she's clearly a virgin, so she's going to suit their needs. But she's like overhearing them, and she thinks they're talking about Jennifer.
Right.
Well, they were talking about Jennifer.
Well, I think originally they were talking about Needy.
Yeah, but then their lead singer was like, no, I know girls like her being a Jennifer.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, like, you know, they do all this, but they never put out like blah, blah, blah.
No
yeah.
Right. So but I think that's kind of what starts to get it, because originally I think they were thinking it was Needy that was going to be the virgin. And then Needy's like, yeah, she is a virgin, so like stay away from her or whatever.
Because she senses the danger. Like,
yeah.
Because they come off, like, we'll just say, they come off as like rapists. Like, they've got this giant white van and they're talking about just taking one of the girls for the night. So it's very like,
it's very,
oh my God. Like, like radar is going off everywhere.
Yeah. So the place burns down. The band makes it out. The two girls make it out. And it's like, oh, let's go somewhere safe. My van. Just one of you. Come in my van.
Yeah, only one of you. And, you know, like, Jennifer being Jennifer is like, oh, I'm going. I want this. Like, this is, of course, it has to be me. Like, and Needy just kind of watches her as the door shuts.
And it's ominous.
Like, and so she runs to Tom and is like, we have to go save her. She's going to die. Like, so she's panicking. Yeah.
But then I think she just like goes to bed eventually because they can't.
Well, she sees Jennifer.
Right.
Well, Jennifer
she's
comes
in her house. Yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer comes once she's back at her house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Needy's back at her house and she like hears something. And then Jennifer shows up looking rough.
Yeah.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, like real rough.
Like she's been beat up. She's covered in dirt and blood. She's just bleeding profusely. She's
very like shell shocked. You know, so she's not really like responding to Needy. Yeah, she's just kind of like
there.
Right.
Yeah, so she doesn't really respond much at all to Needy trying to talk to her until she then screams like a demon and spews black goo.
After eating her rotisserie chicken, that was in her fridge. She's just like eating, like throws it on the floor, like eats it with her hands, and then throws up black sludge.
You know, there was something about this time in history that people like made rotisserie chickens just really like scary in the horror realm. Because like, when did Girl Interrupted come out? I know that's not a horror movie.
That was earlier because I was a kid. I was like in 4th grade.
Because they also did something that really like turned me off of rotisserie chicken. Something about in the early, like in the 2000s.
You know, I just think rotisserie chickens have the potential to be gross.
Yeah. They're 10 years apart, but still, like, yeah, it's hard for me to look at rotisserie chicken.
No, I think they just have the potential to be gross.
I think we might have to start tracking this. Like rotisserie chicken checks.
A statistical study.
Yes.
On rotisserie chicken.
Start tracking this. Because like, I feel like I never thought about it, but now that you say it, I'm like, yeah.
You got rotisserie chicken.
Kind of common. Chicken check.
Yeah. Okay, so listeners, we have a data file of all of our Spooky Sips information. We will be adding rotisserie chickens.
Yes. Was it
to the data?
Yes, absolutely.
This is what the people are asking for.
Yeah. We're going to have to go back to all of our old movies and see if any of them had rotisserie chicken in it.
Yes. Yeah. Love this. And then Jennifer just like bails out the window or something, or like,
yeah, she just leaves.
She's gone. Like, and I think she jump off like the second story and she just,
I think she
jumps out the window and
and she like she doesn't attack Needy. but she like pushes her up against the wall.
Yeah,
and is like,
she
are you
like
scared? And she says, yeah. And then she leaves.
Again, it seemed very like, ooh.
Oh.
No, it was.
Sexually charged.
Oh. So then they're just in school the next day.
They're in
like
school,
everything's fine.
Yeah. Well, everything's fine except for the fact that like Jennifer is just so un-PC in this movie. I didn't even write down all this stuff because I didn't feel like I could. But like, again, it was a product of its time. But some of the stuff she said, I was just like, oh my God.
But like, you really do have to remember the time because like when I was in high school, the R word was like rampant and totally okay and cool to say. Like, so it's important to remember that like, this was a rough time in America. Right. Teens were all over the place, you know?
Yeah.
It was rough out there.
No, the jokes were. Well, and then, I mean, when I say like, and everything was just fine, I mean, the entire town was devastated by the tragic loss of the night before.
Right.
Except for Jennifer.
Right. And she don't care.
She's like, I feel like we should all be moving on.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so she shows up and she's in, I don't know what subject this teacher teaches, but she shows up to class with Nene. And they never explained it. There's a teacher that just has a hook for a hand. Why does he have a hook for a hand?
Just,
I don't know. Okay. Well, that's kind of weird.
I mean, I don't think it's like a thing. Like it just, I don't think it's part of the story.
They just put a teacher with a hook for a hand in there and never explained it.
I mean, I think that's actually also, again, not to like be a broken record, but a very 2009 thing to do. Like, just, you know, like, but I have to say, like, I love that actor. Like, I love his role in Juno, but I feel like in this too, he nailed his character. So it was weird that he had a hook, but like he made it work.
Was that J.K. Simmons?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, we also, speaking of people in this movie, we totally forgot to talk about the actor who was in the bar initially trying to hit on Jennifer.
Yes.
Chris Pratt. Like before he was Chris Pratt. Like, so Brianna and I looked it up. This is the same year that Parks and Rec did first air. But still, this was like before he was like a big deal.
Because he's such a baby. Like he's just so young.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was adorable.
So,
well, before we leave the bar totally, maybe we should talk about what we're sipping on tonight. Because you guys, it is a wild ride.
Yeah. I just had a sip.
Yeah. Just give her a second.
Okay. So I think, Brianna, you found the drink, but I made it. So I can talk about how I made it. So we're sipping on the Spicy Satanic Ritual Cocktail. Because what is this movie if not spicy? So if you want to sip along with us, you're going to need 1 chili pepper, an ounce of lemon juice, half an ounce of amaretto, which is how I made it. Or if you're fancy, you can get some Orgeat syrup.
I called it Orgeat, so I'm glad to know how it's pronounced.
It's spelled Orgeat. Half an ounce of coffee liqueur, 1.5 ounces of vodka. And then if you just want to make it a black color, do a pinch of activated charcoal. And then top it off with some little chili peppers to make it look like little devil horns. Okay. And I was skeptical because to me, it kind of seemed like a margarita and an Irish coffee, but mixed together, which kind of sounds awful. But it actually really works. Like the cocktail smells really good. I think because of the amaretto.
Yeah.
So you get like the nutty with like the citrusy. And then when you sip it, like, again, it's one of those cocktails where like you get all the flavors one at a time, but then it ends with like a nice spicy like ending with the chilies. So it sounds really weird, but trust me, it's good. And you don't add ice or anything. Like this is like a room temperature cocktail.
Oh, okay.
Which can be kind of hard to pull off. Ice hides a lot of sins. But yeah, make it room temperature. Don't add anything else to it. It's really good.
I love it. I feel like it fits the vibe of this movie very well.
Yes, definitely.
Yes. Yeah.
Ooh, and we can call the episode Jennifer's Spicy Body.
Oh my gosh.
Right? That's a good
Adorbs.
That's good. That's good.
So yeah, we're back at high school now.
And I just wrote down some of the lingo in this movie at this point. Things like calling people a dill hole.
That one I loved.
I
feel like we need to bring that back.
Things are a whopper. And just like JC are some of the lingo that I wrote down that they say at this point.
I think dill hole is underutilized, you know?
No, I think, I'm saving some of these insults. Like
I'm saving one that's going to come later when we talk about the band. It's, I think I have a couple of my favorite quotes coming up soon. But then we get our second instance of a death, because I have no idea how many people died in the fire.
No, yeah.
But we get like our second and like, you know, more individualized death.
Mm-hmm.
With, is it Jonas?
Oh, I didn't even write down his name.
I think that feels Jock. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, Jock. Jonas the Jock.
Yeah, I think it was Jonas. Yeah.
So he is really upset because his best friend died in the fire. Mm-hmm. So he's this big jock, but he's on the football field and he's just crying and he's obviously so sad. And she said that, so Jennifer goes up to him and she's like, oh, well, I was probably the last person to talk to your best friend before he died. And he said that he wanted us to hook up. Something
wild.
Like, again, like just so insensitive. Like, it's like, I was probably the last one to talk to him, like ever.
Yeah.
Just the confidence is unmatched.
So then she like leads him into the woods because, you know, that's what his dead best friend would have wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell when they go to the woods, all of the animals know. They're like,
oh my gosh, the freaking animals in this scene.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's like freaking Cinderella. All the animals like get called out and you get like one of each animal just standing there watching them.
Yeah. Because they know she's bad news. So they're like on the lookout, I think.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about this movie is that like it has these really beautiful moments of cinematography that like you don't usually find in this type of movie. Like, because when they're walking into the woods, you know, it's just this pan out of a football field up against the woods and just their two tiny little bodies walking in. And it's like this giant scene. So I loved like those little moments where you get that in this movie because it's not what you would normally have in like this type of comedy.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree. But yeah, so she basically is, you know, tries to seduce him and, well, doesn't have to try very hard.
Right.
And of course her top comes off and then she exposes teeth that are very reminiscent of the teeth from It.
Oh, it does
Pennywise.
kind of look like
you know
that.
How Pennywise opens his mouth, like it very much.
That does look like that.
Mm-hmm. Then he did.
Yeah,
then he's gone.
He's a goner.
He's gone.
And she is in fine form afterwards because like it feeds her. So when she goes to school, she's like looks really great. Like her hair is perfect and her skin is glowing. Like
yeah. But everyone else in this town, because the teacher with the hook for a hand finds the guy in the woods, like he heard him scream, so he went out there. So it's like the entire town is mourning. Like the school is mourning. Everyone else is like, I mean, they make it like the colors are gray around everyone. And then you get Jennifer, who is just like glowing, strutting down the hallways.
Yeah. And like, so right after she killed him, she goes swimming naked in the lake, which is another beautiful shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then she comes out and she's just like glowing and beautiful and like happy. Yeah. And, like just excited to be here. And at this point I wrote down, someone told someone else, "You're a penis tongue." That was the insult they gave them. And I don't remember where that came from.
I don't remember that one.
Just so many good lines.
"You're a penis tongue."
You're a penis tongue.
Ooh.
And then I forget if it's at this point or we're gonna get more deaths. But the band Low Shoulder starts picking up and we get their song on repeat. And at one point, and I forget if it was after this death, we get like the children singing the song at like a funeral.
Yeah.
It's just this stupid song played over and over again in this town.
It won't quit. Like,
I told Brianna I was going to sing, but I've been singing too much in the podcast, so I'm not going to sing it. But it's been stuck in my head. I was singing it last night. Like, so my husband came to like say goodnight because I go to bed earlier than him. And as he came in, I was like singing. He's like, "What is that?" And I was like, "It's the song from Jennifer's Body."
yeah, if you're curious, listeners, just look it up. It's terrible. It's a horrible song.
Imagine 2009 as a song.
I know you liked it.
I like it.
And I have a lot of judgments about that.
It's a sweet, poppy, catchy, emotional song, and I like it.
Trash. Talentless trash.
Through the trees, I will find you.
Why? Why is she in the trees?
She went into the woods to kill the man.
I mean, yeah.
The devil's kettle is through the trees.
So anyways.
So I think we get like a little bit of time passes, and now Jennifer's not looking as good. Yeah. Jennifer's starting to look a little pale.
Mm-hmm. And she talks about how her hair is dull and flat.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's like a major crime for her. Mm-hmm. Her hair is lifeless.
And
yeah, just not looking as good.
Start to get like any time that Needy gets attention from or talks to a boy, Jennifer is like wants that boy. Mm-hmm. Like you see this because I think Needy ends up getting some attention from this punk rock.
Oh yeah, what was his name with the piercing?
Oh, yeah, what was his name?
And he is the most emo of them all. Craig. Was it Craig?
Craig?
Oh, okay. Maybe it was Colin.
Colin. Oh, I think it was Colin. Yeah, I think it was Colin.
Yeah.
So like he's giving Needy some attention. So of course then naturally Jennifer is like, well, no, you can't have attention.
Right.
Well, because he asks Jennifer out. Like he's starting to try to ask Jennifer out.
Right.
And she's originally like, no. But then Needy's like, oh, I actually like him. Like he's really cool. And like blah. And she was like, oh, okay, then yeah. Yes, let's go out tonight.
Right.
Yeah. Come to my house.
So how she like goes and like like tries to talk to him is I think she says something like, "You give me such a wetty." And I was like,
oh. I remember that line.
That was unnecessary. That is.
I mean, she just went for it. She says it like it is, I guess.
One of the other, again, there's so many good jokes. So I know we can't like quote all of them, but it's because Colin had asked her to go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show for the date, and she's like, "I don't like boxing movies."
Oh my god, yes,
such a good joke.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I don't like boxing movies.
Nope. But yeah, and then do we? At some point, we get the scene. So Needy ends up until now, she was a virgin, but then she and her boyfriend end up having sex.
Mm-hmm. We get it like at the same time.
Yeah, it's like
as Jennifer and Colin.
Okay.
Yes.
Because like Needy is getting, she's almost like getting like flashes or she knows kind of what
it's Jennifer like. It almost is like she's experiencing.
Yeah,
she is like it's almost like she physically can feel it. Like
I feel like we get. To me, like it kind of feels like like when like twins have that like telepathy because we see it earlier in the movie where like Needy knows when Jennifer gets to her house. Nothing had happened, but she was like, "Oh, Jennifer's here." Like she could just sense it. So like to me, it was kind of that sense of like they've known each other for so long, they have this kind of like telepathy.
Laura and I actually talked about it, about how we were like these two, like we were the same duo. Like I'm Jennifer, she's Needy, except for the lesbianism. But outside of that, it's me and Laura.
Yeah, it really is.
So you get it. They're the telepathy.
Yeah.
I thought that scene was so good though with Chip and Needy because it starts like sweet and it's like okay they're seeing their first time like blah. And so Needy's having these like horrible visions of like she can sense loosely what Jennifer's doing, like horrendous vision. So she starts like screaming, like she's scared.
And Chip is like, "Fuck yeah."
And Jim is like, I'm doing so good.
He's like,
at
I
one
must be
point
doing
he's
it right.
even like, am I too big for you?
That was my thing. Oh, am I too big?
Just totally tuned out.
I also love the like tiny, like a thing of like when they're about to have sex, she's like, okay, put it in. Like I like that they included that moment.
I know, right? Okay, I'm
Like,
ready.
Okay, put it in.
It's so funny because it's like, yeah, like, you know, just when you're young and first time having sex, it's so awkward.
No,
and
it
you
is. It's a
don't know
very
what-
accurate depiction.
absolutely. Because of course he's thinking like she's that this is how she shows she's into it because they've
Right.
never had sex before. And why would he be thinking she's like envisioning her friend murdering somebody? Oh, it's funny.
So yeah, the same time Jennifer and Colin are in this like abandoned house or house being built or something. Like it's a empty.
Like the whole neighborhood is
right.
And I was like, honestly though, this is so real. Like a teenage boy would absolutely look past all of this. Like,
hands down.
hey, meet me in this like abandoned house in the middle of nowhere because hooking up. And it's like, yes, absolutely.
Done.
Unfazed.
It's not even going to question.
On my way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, he dies.
He dies.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah, I feel like that one wasn't as memorable.
No, I don't feel like it showed as much. We just
No.
kind of knew what happened.
Yeah. No, yeah, I don't remember as much. Other than all his chains. Like, I feel like when she took his clothes off, I just,
so emo.
like, the sound
I
of all
know.
of it, like, hitting the floor.
You know what, though? Those were so popular. Like, you would go to Hot Topic. Oh, I miss Hot Topic. And those were, like, totally in.
Oh, yeah. No, like, it was great. I love where it's like you take off the clothes and it's like, all I could pay attention to is the sound of all the chains hitting the floor.
Chainmail.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, once Jennifer's done, then she goes to Needy's house.
Mm-hmm. And she runs into her on the way.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because Needy like freaks out, being like, having these visions. And then she like
bails.
Yeah. So as she's driving, she like runs into Jennifer coming out of the forest.
Yeah, she almost hit her.
Which was a creepy scene.
Yeah, like just covered in blood.
Mm-hmm.
And she just kind of drives home.
Yes. And guess who's already in her bedroom?
Yep.
Jennifer.
But
she's all clean.
Yes.
No blood. She looks normal. Mm-hmm. She's glowing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I wrote down that we get a very sexy lesbian scene.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have some makeout time. Mm-hmm. But then Needy kind of like is freaking out, like, what's going on? And so Jennifer tells her the story.
Yeah.
Of what happened to her.
So we see now what happened.
Yeah.
Because so far we haven't known what actually happened to her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so this is when one of them refers to the band of, I think it's Jennifer, that refers to the band as Agents of Satan with like really awesome haircuts.
She sure does.
Love that line.
Yeah, their haircuts were
so much.
Great.
There's so many good lines in this movie.
I just feel like it really captures what being a teenager is like what this experience would be as a teenager. Because you would think about that.
Yeah.
That would be on your list. Not like the guys that almost killed me, but the guys with a really good haircut.
Yeah. Agents of Satan with like really good haircuts.
Satanists or something.
So yeah, we see that they had taken her where the, devil's kettle was. And they had like tied her up. And they were going to perform a satanic ritual. Because they wanted to become famous. So they were going to sacrifice a virgin.
Yeah.
So they
I love that the explanation is like, look, like we're an indie band. Like it's just really hard right now.
Yeah,
like,
we can't do it on our own.
Indie bands out there. Like, this is our only option.
I mean, they're not wrong.
No, it was hard back then,
But yeah, then they just start stabbing the shit out of her. But we very quickly realized that she was not a virgin. And so it didn't work and it backfired.
And so it turned her into, and I think they said that it turned her into a succubus.
Yeah.
Which is a flesh-eating Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so that's what she's become.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that tracks.
Mm-hmm.
But they went on. Like, it didn't really impact them. Like, they kind of just went and became famous.
Yeah, because
like,
I think we learned later when then Needy's like doing research. You know, she does the stereotypical, I'm going to go to the library and research what's going on. Hit up the occult section.
Yep.
So there she finds a book about what's happening. And so we realized that the thing they were trying to perform, it was like if they did it with someone who wasn't actually a virgin, it would still work. So the band still got to be successful, but the demon would live in the non-virgin, sacrifice.
I see.
So we learned that that's what was happening.
That's why she became a succubus.
Yeah. So like they still get to win, and now she's stuck being a demon.
Punished, right.
So
typical fucking patriarchy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then we learned that night she killed someone else.
Yes.
And that was Ahmed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because she was just like walking back.
And she was like, I was so hungry. Like, I was dying of hunger.
And he was also out. And she's like, oh, does anyone know you're alive?
And he's like, no.
Nope. No one knows.
Come with me.
Because he's like an exchange student, right? Because doesn't she say, like, does your host family know you're...
But I think it was assumed he was in the fire.
He was in the fire.
So she gets a freebie, basically, with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, so I don't know why this line happened at this point in the movie, but this is another good quote, you guys. I'm sorry, I just have so many of them. So at one point, I think it's that I know what it was. So Needy decides she needs to break up with Tom. Is that her boyfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Because like the dance is coming up and he wants to go with her, but she is thinking, the dance is going to be like this prime feeding ground for Jennifer. I don't think we should go. In fact, we need to break up for right now because this is, not the time. It's safer for you. And to try to like convince her to not break up with him, he tells her that he said, I care about you as a person, not just some girl I made love to for 4 minutes the other night.
I love it. So sweet.
Aww. It was probably 4 minutes. So cute.
So yeah, then we have the dance.
Anyway.
But Needy still goes.
Because she wants to keep an eye out
and
for Jennifer.
Very upset about something. I am so upset about something. I will die on this hill. What the fork was her dress?
I
don't know.
So ridiculous. This was 2009, not 1989.
In no deck, even then, this dress wouldn't have flown. Like
maybe
it is this disgusting hot pink.
Yeah, like
fluffy ass
sleeves, super low down, like corset.
I couldn't even pay attention to the rest of the movie because I was just so upset about this dress.
I agree, because even though she's like a little bit nerdy, a little bit not, the hot girl, like there's no reason for that.
And
other than 1989.
It even would have made sense if like her mom would have been like, oh, Needy, I have a dress you can wear. Okay, then we would know where it came from. But you're trying to tell me that Needy went and got this dress on her own volition? No.
That would have been so smart. Like a tiny, just like, oh, you can wear my prom dress.
Exactly.
But why do it at all?
No, but at least then I would understand.
Yeah, no, it made no sense. Okay, there was one scene getting ready for the dance where, again, this movie's really funny.
Yeah,
but like this scene, I actually really liked when Jennifer's getting ready to go to the prom, and she's looking rough. She hasn't fed in a while, so she's back to looking like a bit pale. And like it's a tiny moment where she's sitting in front of her mirror. You can tell just like thinking through it. And then she starts putting her makeup on, and it's like, and then she just starts like covering her face. And it's like, she's so pale that like the makeup doesn't even match her skin. Like you can tell it's just like trying to cover it up. And I was like, I feel like every woman has been there.
Yes.
You know, where you
have to put your face on.
I'm not looking good, but I'm going to put this stupid makeup on to just cover it up.
The event's happening today, whether I like it or not. Look,
right. I agree. I love that scene. And I feel like that scene is now used in like a lot of reels as like that moment when you're just totally in it, but you have to carry on.
Yeah.
I did read that she lost weight before the film, and keep in mind, like she is an extremely thin woman, but she lost around 15 pounds. So she got under 100 pounds, and she's like 5'7". So like she was like 97 pounds.
She's already thin.
But she also really strictly stayed out of the sun for like 6 months leading up to the filming. Like she would not let sun because she wanted to look really pale. And in a way that they didn't have to do makeup for. Like she wanted her whole self to be pale. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Just also
it was noticeable. Like I feel like the honestly, it was like the very, very first scene where we see her in high school. I think we see her in like her cheerleader uniform. And I remember thinking, I was like, her legs look pale. Yeah. Like her legs look tiny and like white. Like, I mean, Megan Fox is like Caucasian, but like she's tan. Like when I think of her, I'm like, she's tan. Like that first shot, I was like, oh wow, her legs look a little pale.
Yeah, totally. Especially 2009. That was all about fake tans were still fine, good to go. Like
So, and even like real tanning was a real thing.
Like,
like skin cancer be gone.
Tanning, med tanning, and spray tans, very big.
Just like the orange face where your foundation was like 5 shades different than the rest of your skin was such a vibe.
You know, as a naturally translucently pale person, I can understand though. It's hard because the sun is bad for you, but I am white as a ghost if I get no sun. So it's just, it's what are you going to do? Because fake tan always looks fake.
Yeah.
Like it never doesn't look fake, but then my natural skin is ghostly. Like I'm literally matching the color of my white wall behind me right now.
Yeah, you really are.
A good spray tan though, like I've seen good spray tans.
They're better than they used to be.
Yeah, they've gotten way better. Yeah, the trick is like, okay, now just don't move.
Right.
Yeah.
don't crease anything.
And they'll last for like 2 days, and then the way that it like comes off, like it just it's not worth it. I just would rather be pale.
All right. Anyways. What were we talking about?
So it's prom.
It's prom. It's prom night.
It's prom. Needy's there.
Yeah, Needy's there.
Jennifer and Chip are not there.
Because Jennifer tells Chip that that Needy was cheating on him with like one of the varsity football guys.
Yeah, one of the guys that died.
She's like, I know that she's told you she's a virgin, but no, they've been doing kinky stuff. Like,
and that's why she's been so sad since he died. Like,
and Chip just believes her. He's like, oh my God, absolutely. Therefore, we should hook up. That just makes so much sense.
I know. I told Laura, I was like, what a creep. And Laura was more sympathetic. I'm not.
More sympathetic. Because I think that, he is a teenage boy, and he just, the woman that he thought that he was, dating and maybe in love with or something, he now thinks that she was genuinely cheating on him. He might as well sleep with her best friend. Like,
I mean, this is why all horror movies have to take place with high schoolers. It's because you immediately believe that they're dumb. Like, we were all there. It's like, absolutely. Yes.
We
Oh my God. She was cheating on you? Yep. Cheat on her.
Because I also feel like then once they're starting to make out and she starts to say things to him where she goes, tell me I'm better than Needy. Tell me I'm better than Needy. And at that point, I think that he was making it very clear that although he was kind of like still kissing her, he wasn't wanting it anymore. He was realizing.
He was questioning it.
He was realizing she was lying. He's like, no, I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
So. But then there's the emotional song playing while Needy is running to them because they go to the abandoned pool.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, somehow Jennifer still convinces Chip to like stay with her. And it's like, let's go inside.
And it's the coolest set ever.
Such a good setup.
Oh, I loved this pool house.
Like it looked so cool. Disgusting. Like it looked so cool. Like again, it's like maybe a pool house kind of thing in it, but like
it's very moonlit.
And it's like inside, so you have all the graffiti and like all the plants are coming in. The water debris. Looks disgusting. Mm-hmm. Like they go in and it's like, let's go for a swim, and it's like, ew.
Yeah, like are you kidding? That's
don't
sludge.
Touch that.
That is like actual sludge.
So gross. Yeah. Yeah, then Needy gets to them.
Yes.
And I just wrote chick fight in the pool.
Yep.
Essentially that's it. Yep, that's what happens.
Needy gets there right as after Jennifer bites Chip's neck. Like he's already not doing very hot.
Right.
By the time Needy gets there.
Yes.
And then so then they fight for a while, and then I like where I forget if maybe Needy kind of knocks Jennifer back for a bit or something, but at one point then Needy goes over to talk to Chip, and then Jennifer starts hovering, and he's like, "We got to get out of here!" Like she's magic or something. She's hovering,
and she's flying.
Or yeah, he's like, she's flying. She's like, she's just hovering. It's not that impressive.
Yeah.
So good. So yeah, they're kind of fighting. At one point, Chip stabs Jennifer like in the stomach with a little pool cleaner thing.
Right.
So like I think that's what kind of stops her.
Right, because we had learned when she was telling Needy, after they were kind of like making out, when she was telling her that she is this demon, she said, "It's so cool, I can't get hurt." And she would like burn her own tongue or like scratch herself, and then it just heals. But she says, "When I'm full, I can't be killed." Mm-hmm. But we know that she was very hungry.
Right.
Yeah, and it was also in the books that I think to kill her, she had to stab her in the heart.
Through the heart.
That was the only way.
Like when in doubt, that's usually.
Yeah, it's usually a good way to go. I know there's too many good lines, but it's right because of the scene where she's like burning her tongue. Because I think she's on the phone with Needy while she's like doing this, and she's like, "I am a god."
Yes.
It's like I
love that she never questions what's happened to her. She just fully accepts it.
Yeah.
And loves it. Like, because part of the fight in the pool house is like, not only is it a fight to the death, but it's also like a fight of their dynamic because like they're fighting about the fact that like Needy is telling Jennifer, like, "You always do this to me. You always take what I have. Like you want what I have." And I love the line when Jennifer, because she can just be so deadpan, which makes her delivery perfect. But she's like, "Yeah, and now I'm meeting your boyfriend. So at least I'm consistent."
Yeah.
Like I just loved it. Like,
oh, she's like,
yeah,
nice,
it's also it's
Hannah
like
Montana.
Yeah, right. Yes. So yeah, it's a very like heated fight because there's a lot happening. It's not just about like, don't kill my boyfriend. There's a lot there.
Yeah. So Jennifer gets away, and we get just a little scene between Needy and Chip while he, dies there at the pool. Mm-hmm. So now we get to where the movie started, right? Jennifer in bed and Needy outside her window.
Yes.
And I don't know how much happened. I'm pretty sure it just broke in through her window.
Yeah, it was quick.
Well, and then this is when I wrote down every boy's fantasy of a girl fight.
Right.
Yeah. The way they were fighting, just in their in their underwear, and like it was just, it was kind of cliche, but
yeah. No, we get the full girl fight.
Yep.
And Needy's attacking her with a box cutter.
Right.
Of all the girls, just go to like the kitchen.
Right. And just put a knife.
Why a box cutter?
Right. And she gets her. It's pretty quick. Like she stabs Jennifer in the heart.
Yeah. And her tit.
Yeah, and her because she's like, my tit.
No, your heart.
Not that.
Oh, no.
I don't care about my heart, but not my tit.
It's my favorite asset.
And then she leaves.
No, Jennifer's mom hears the kerfuffle.
That's right.
And walks in on Needy having just killed Jennifer.
Yeah. Hence, and she holds Jennifer. Yeah.
And I think we're supposed to assume that's why Needy is now in the hospital.
Because she probably got ticketed with a lot of the other murders. I would
assume so. They didn't tell us that, but I think we can assume.
Right. And then we're back in.
I was so worried the movie was going to end here.
I know.
When she stabbed her, I was like, this better not be the end.
I know.
I was like, I would be so disappointed if they end the movie after she stabs Jennifer.
Right.
So it keeps going.
Because then we see Needy in the psych ward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and she gets put in solitary confinement.
Mm-hmm.
But then she kind of explains that during this fight with Jennifer, she got bit. Mm-hmm. And if you get bit by a demon, you can absorb some of its abilities and its curse.
Mm-hmm.
And she just floating, starts levitating.
Mm-hmm.
Because the cell is really tall and there's a barred window way up there, but so obviously she breaks through the window and she's out of there.
Just walks out
in her bunny slippers.
Yes.
Bunny slippers and all.
Love the bunny slippers.
Love it. Iconic.
And then we see her hitchhike. And when the guy pulls over, she's like, oh, I'm just following a band.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, yes. I don't know if you could say this is a post-credit scene, because I feel like we get maybe one credit and then immediately cut to the next thing. So it's like a semi post-credit thing, but it's so good. We get to see her, we get shots basically of her going and then just full revenge.
Yep,
killing
full revenge.
The entire stupid low shoulder band.
And their hotel room or something.
Yes. Yeah, they're on tour or something. We see her go in, and then we just get all the crime scene,
just the bodies, and it's so good,
so good.
Good ending.
I'm happy they ended it with that.
Me too.
That stupid band needed to die.
I agree. No, it's full.
I'm a
woman power.
I'm a low shoulder fan all the way.
Amazing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What a movie. This was so fun. I'm so happy you guys watched this.
A fast-paced movie. It's over before you realize it's over. Damn, okay. Yeah. You're on the ride the whole time.
No, this was so fun. And I'm happy it's started to get the credit that it deserved. Because and maybe we can talk more about this, but this movie was extremely poorly marketed. They had a female director, they had a female screenwriter, they had these female leads, but the studio obviously did not have female marketers. And they really only saw Megan Fox is attractive.
And
that's what this movie is. That's all we're going to advertise. We're going to advertise to the men 18 to 24. That's the prime demographic, and that's who they advertise this movie for. And the movie poster is Megan Fox in this I don't know, skimpy
little outfit,
cool girl outfit. At least the one I saw. In a classroom, and when I saw, I was like, oh, this movie is not targeted to me.
No,
that's why I'm not going to watch it.
No, because I don't know if you remember, but when Transformers came out and the way that movie was marketed, because she was in it, her role in that, it was marketed very similarly. And that movie is for young boys, teenage boys.
Yeah.
And this movie, I remember, was marketed because even when my friends and I went to go see it, most of my friends were I don't want to see that. because they were like, it looks like trash. Like, I don't want to see that. So yeah, I remember that was a real issue.
Yeah. No, so it like absolutely bombed. Like this movie did horribly because again, they advertised it being like, oh, look, Megan Fox. And like, I watched this interview and I feel like maybe we should post it with the screenwriter, Diablo Cody and Megan Fox as like a 10-year after this movie came out, like reunion where they just talked about things. And like, I loved listening to these two women speak about their experience.
Yeah,
like,
we'll post it.
Yeah, no, I like got it to like take notes and I ended up just listening to the whole interview and like didn't write anything down. So I had to like go back to like actually write down things. But like it was so interesting just listening to them. But one of the things that Diablo Cody was talking about is, you know, she wrote the movie and she remembers emailing the marketing people at whatever studio did this. She's like, okay, like, you know, this is kind of what the movie's going to be. Like, what do you think for like marketing? Like a serious professional email to a serious professional studio. And the email that she got back was Megan Fox hot. 3 words.
Wow.
That's how we're going to market this movie.
Wow.
And like they came up with all these like just awful ideas.
Yeah.
Where it was like, this is not what this movie's about. Why are you advertising it to these people? But they went with it. And then guess what? Men 18 to 24 went to go watch this movie and they were like, oh my God, this sucks.
Right.
Right. Because it's all about female friendship.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah. And it's like female empowerment and friendship. And it's also, I feel like in the last couple of years online, it's become that trope of like a good for her ending. Like, oh, good for her. Like she got her justice. And I feel like this is like one of the earlier movies that did that. So I think that's part of what made it come back. And I'm so glad that it's finally getting props because
we all owe Megan Fox an apology.
Yeah.
You know,
it's hard too because yes, Megan Fox in this movie is insanely hot. And that is part of the story is her sexuality and her hotness. But by saying that's all that it is, it completely takes away
the entire point of the movie.
Beauty of including that in as part of the story. You know what I mean? That should be allowed to be part of the story, but not be the only thing.
Amen.
Yeah. No, so it was super poorly marketed. And then it just did like so bad. Yeah. Like it just absolutely bombed in the box office. And like listening to the screenwriter specifically talk about it, like she was like, it was rough. Like this was early years of Twitter.
Right.
And so she this was back when people like didn't think about like internet presence and like maybe thinking about what you post online.
Or just total dicks.
She was just seeing people like be awful and like including her peers. So it was like critics hated it. All these men 18 to 24 hated it. And her peers were like, lol, look at her. And like so we talked about her for a little bit. So the screenwriter, Diablo Cody, amazing name.
Yeah, I was going to say
she wrote Juno.
Right.
And that was her first movie.
Okay.
And then she got all the awards. So she was given kind of free reign. Like they were like, okay, well, clearly you are crushing it. So we'll just kind of let you like do whatever you want. You kind of have like full creative control to make another movie, which was so cool because not a lot of writers get to do that.
Right.
But then to have it just like bomb and then everyone was kind of like, okay, no, actually you suck. And everything's really bad. So like she was like, yeah, she decided to like have children. Like she was like, I'm going to intentionally like have a child, be pregnant, take a break, go to therapy. Like this movie did so poorly that it just drastically impacted her. And then we got all the drama with Megan Fox.
Right.
In 2009 where everyone was just hating on her too. So like, honestly, I go watch the interview because listening to them talk about it 10 years later, it's like, I feel like you just got to see them like heal and like talk about how they worked through it and, you know, like coming out from it. Like I really liked listening to them. And like they both just speak so well and they both gave each other room to talk.
Yes.
Like they both had a minute where they were just quiet and like listening and then they would give the other one the chance to talk.
I think Megan Fox is such like an interesting person to watch in interviews now. Like the insight and awareness that she has about her life and her experiences is so fascinating to hear now when you think back to what she must have gone through during this time. So yes, we will share the link to that because that sounds.
She was so young. I mean, like, because Transformers, I think she was like 21.
Yeah.
When that came out, like she was early, 22, 23.
Yeah.
When this movie, Jennifer's Body came out, like she was a baby going through this.
And just to have yourself be viewed as just this like ultimate and super famous sexual object,
and that's it.
It would be so hard, and I just can see that would be really damaging to just kind of like how you then present your personality in situations. So, there might be some critique of her and all of that, but it's hard to know. It's hard to judge until, because I've never been there.
No.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. And I feel like no one honestly has to, and obviously there's other famous actresses, but like to her level.
Right.
Like, and one of the things she talked about in the interview, and like, again, we all just need to go sit down and watch it. But like Megan Fox, like feeling like there wasn't room in feminism for her, where she's like, like I believe in all of these things, but like, it also felt like maybe there wasn't room in there for me because of becoming this like sex symbol and like the way that people treated her. So like, it's really good seeing her talk about it now. And thinking back on it, but it's like, oh my gosh, we all owe her an apology. I don't think I realized how bad it was for her.
I feel the exact same way about Julia Fox. Like, I don't know if you've like followed her, but like she dated Kanye West and she kind of got obliterated for it. Like, she is such like a healing and healthy person that in interviews, like she blows me away with her awareness. But I think she experienced something very similar where like that was all she was. And she had to like figure out how to use that, but then not lose herself in it.
Oh, we might wait. What was the movie she was in with Adam Sandler? Uncut Gems.
Yes.
Uncut Gems. Maybe not like exactly horror, but like it's definitely thriller.
Yes.
Like Anxiety the movie.
Yes.
I've never seen it.
Oh, okay. We might have to, because again, it's not like a scary movie, but I was stressed the entire movie. So I think that qualifies for our podcast.
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
It's also just a good movie.
We should totally. No, it's a thriller. So it I was seeing what it was categorized as. So we could totally do it. Yes.
Oh no, we should. That'd be a good one.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway,
speaking of healing,
my soapbox.
No, it's good.
All right. So I'm interested in where you're going to take us tonight, Dr. Laura. And just remember, she's not a real doctor, but these are not real demons. So it's okay.
Tonight, I'm going to take us to Germany.
Oh.
And talk about Schadenfreude.
Okay.
You guys know what Schadenfreude is?
I sure don't.
I hope I said it right. Schadenfreude. That is a German word meaning, technically it means to damage joy. And we'll talk about how the concept of
joy.
Yeah. So Schadenfreude and how it connects to the concept of frenemies. We're going to talk about frenemies.
Oh,
yes.
Because I feel like that's really what we have going on. And really, there's a lot more to it. Just kind of, we were talking about the whole feminist aspect of this movie. I think a lot of times people and their view of female friendship also is simplified too much. It doesn't give the complexity that it deserves, that there's a reason why sometimes female friendships can be complicated. And it's not just that girls are catty and, girls or whatever. It's that there's reasons that things can form that way. So let's talk about frenemies. Have either of you had a frenemy? Like, can you think of like a frenemy you've had? So I'm thinking of, I've had some good friends where there's been moments and times in our friendship where there's been a frenemy aspect. So it's like, they're still like really close friends with me, but there's some friends I have that for certain times in our life or periods in our friendship, there's been these like moments of like competition, jealousy. Mm-hmm. And we've been able to work through it for, my good friends, but I definitely have had some moments of frenemies in some
I
of
have one. Yes.
Yeah.
But you know what? We had something happen later in life, like 10 years later, that like brought us back together, and it made it, we were okay. So it was like a heartwarming story of frenemies. But yeah, that's it. Just one.
I don't know if I have like a full frenemy, because obviously it's like you have tension sometimes with friends and stuff, but like I don't know if I got to like the full frenemy extent.
Yeah. And I would say the same for me. Like I because I'm even thinking of, some of my really good friends, and there's just been these moments of like frenemy parts, but never like a full on frenemy.
Yeah. It comes with long-term friendship. It's like siblings, like it's a natural part of it.
Actually, yeah. I would say frenemies with siblings is like a huge thing, because it's really the kind of the definition is where you appear to be friends, but that you have these hidden feelings. And here are some of the hidden feelings you can have as a frenemy. First one is jealousy. So typically this is going to come from a place of your own insecurity. So I feel like for Jennifer, I think she kind of viewed Needy as a frenemy because she was feeling insecure about her own restriction on just being seen as a sex object to all of the people in her town. So I think she was feeling insecure about that and kind of then jealous of Needy's ability to be seen as something other than that. But then Needy, she was jealous of Jennifer's just overt sex appeal and the attention that she got from it. And all of the experiences she got to have that Needy didn't have because of that sexuality that she had. You could also just be jealous of other people's, social connections, material possessions, and their success, whether that be like romantically, academically, or financially. And a lot of times, if you have a jealousy type of frenemy, it's that you yourself have this need for validation, and then you're jealous that your friend gets it when you don't. So like, you could be happy for them, but also you're jealous because you want it for yourself. And how come you don't get it? So another aspect of frenemies is distrust. So frenemies can lack respect for each other and like kind of be dishonest with each other and really just lack that genuine support. So instead of just really being happy for the other person's success, you don't really support it because, again, kind of like that jealousy. And that kind of goes hand in hand with also envy that you can have, is that you might feel threatened by your friend's success. So like, I think with Jennifer and Needy, we see this a lot because I think they both think that if the other person is successful, oh my gosh, I'm distracted by Yvette, your cat, being cute in the background. I see him and he's being cute.
I just saw him.
Weezer, what are you doing back there, friend?
He's joined the podcast.
This is little face.
This is his debut, you guys.
He's so cute back there.
Just watching.
We love you, Squeeze.
Well, he is my supervisor. When I work from home, I work here. And so he is my supervisor.
That's amazing. But yeah, so like, I think sometimes frenemies can feel envy, but it also comes from a place of you might worry that if your friend gets the success that they want, that they'll have no reason for you anymore. Especially if you were friends from a really young age, like Jennifer and Needy were, you might have formed this friendship when you both kind of needed each other. But as you form your own independent identities, if you're successful in those, you might realize that you don't really have a need for that friendship that formed back before those identities were solid.
And I think you can feel that from both of them.
Yes.
Like a little different vibe, but yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
they've both grown past each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then another kind of interesting like concept behind frenemies is this thought of resentment. And this can come from there is social pressures, especially like with, I'll just talk about it in the context of girl friendships. There's this social pressure to have friends, to have other girlfriends, and to have those relationships. And so it might give you this social pressure to stay in a friendship where you've kind of grown apart from each other, but you might then kind of resent the other person because you feel stuck in that friendship because it looks bad. Like, you are allowed to break up with boyfriends. If you are dating someone and you then realize that relationship is not good for you, it's perfectly acceptable to break up. But with friends, especially from my experience, female friends, you're not allowed to do that.
Totally.
Like, you can grow apart from someone, but it's not socially acceptable to say, I'm not really friends with you anymore.
Totally agree.
It's not like super, but you absolutely can break up with a friend.
Oh, yes.
You can, for sure.
And
it takes a strong person.
Exactly.
I feel like the conversation of it is now more acceptable, which I think is healthier as society. But I totally agree that it was it was in such an ingrained way that you never even thought of it like that. You didn't say, "Oh, I can't break up with my friend." It just wasn't even an option.
It's like, I'm just gonna be busy every time.
Right. Like, you would either fade them out, or you just would keep taking it because that's what friends do. Like,
especially Jennifer and Needy, they're in high school and they're in a small town. So it actually probably really was not acceptable for them to just say, we're not friends anymore. We're different enough now, and to coexist peacefully, because there's just so much social pressure to keep those friendships. So they might have just been really resentful of needing to be the other person's friend, even though they're now different.
Yeah.
A lot of times in frenemies, you'll have this competition. You'll see a lot of passive aggressive behavior, which we definitely see from Jennifer and Needy. And then it also relates to this concept, this German word of Schadenfreude, which this is when you appear or you get pleasure or appear pleased based off of when the other person suffers a loss, or you feel sad when they have happy moments. So this is kind of where we see, Jennifer feels like sad when she sees that Needy's getting attention, or Needy feels sad when she sees that, Jennifer's moving on from her. So it's like you get that feeling. So let's talk about Schadenfreude. So there's a few theories as to why this is a thing, because it's a very common thing. It can be related to, your self, of like your evaluation of yourself and your self-esteem. So you might feel better about yourself if you can lower someone else down. It also can relate to your social identity. So you can more identify with a group if you can exclude someone. So we don't see this as much with just this frenemy just between the two girls, but it could be something like Needy could feel closer to her boyfriend if she can kind of exclude Jennifer a bit. And also it can be kind of an adaptive concept and feeling that people have, because it relates to the concept of justice, like social justice. Because if you feel like someone got what is deserved because of their own behaviors. So like some people theorize that like Schadenfreude is a bad thing and always a negative, but there's also kind of an evolutionary reason as to why it's something that everyone experiences. So a little is normal, and it can lead to things like, stopping people from getting too full of themselves, or like motivation for social justice. But a lot of it is like a, big problem, because it leads to, poor relationships. If you have the Schadenfreude,
I feel like your pronunciation gets more
Schadenfreude.
You like slightly change it every time.
Every time I'm appreciating this.
That means one of them has to be right.
Yes.
Right. One of these times I say
odds are.
So if you have it, it can produce a sense of control and dominance. And what's kind of interesting is people can have a higher rates of Schadenfreude with higher social media use. It leads to higher.
Well,
I can see that.
I absolutely believe that.
Like, I bet that Jennifer would have had a bomb Instagram.
Exactly.
100%.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it can lead to a sense of self-control. And if you're using a lot of social media, it can like kind of make you feel out of control and you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. But a lot of times when you're just having a moment in your life of uncertainty, which we see with both characters in this movie. I mean, one, because her friend is a succubus or whatever.
A demon.
Or a demon. And the other because she's becoming a demon. So when your life has these moments of uncertainty, you feel out of control. And so your Schadenfreude increases. So this could lead to why they're having such difficulties in their friendship right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get this temporary boost of, happiness from Schadenfreude. But the effects are short-lived.
Mm-hmm.
So it eventually is going to lead to, just difficulties and like negative images of yourself if you're always comparing yourself to your friend.
Yes.
So yeah, to kind of combat it, you can kind of work on building your empathy. You can work on building your compassion for other people and kind of focus on that instead of bringing them down. Bring yourself up to their level.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to talk about the different types of frenemies because that's boring. But let's see. Let's talk about how to deal with frenemies. So one is that dealing with frenemies, again, because it's kind of difficult, because it's not like you just break up with a friend, typically.
Right.
You get a boyfriend. So it's kind of this really delicate balance, though, between being assertive and like aware of your own issues, but also setting boundaries for your friend. But also like not insulting them to the point where you can't repair the relationship. It's really tricky to do. I actually think that moving past the point of frenemies, you have to be really you have to have a really good foundation to do that. But I will say, Jennifer and Needy have known each other for so long. They're sandbox friends. I think, honestly, if Jennifer hadn't had to die at the hands of Needy, I think they could have moved past this eventually.
I agree.
I know. I'm so sad Jennifer died. Like, I agree. I was like, I feel like maybe they could have worked through this.
I agree.
I wish there was a way to just, I mean, again, she was literally possessed by a demon.
Right. Though, it's probably because so much of her behavior didn't really change.
Fair.
Led Needy to be like, no, this is still who you are.
Right. So Needy had to set that boundary, right?
And kill her. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Boundaries are really healthy.
And it's also probably hard too, because another thing that can combat the Schadenfreude or frenemies is building a genuine connection again and finding new and more meaningful commonalities that you have with the friend.
Right.
Which at this point, with Jennifer being a demon and all, and Needy not, would be hard. Now, if Jennifer had bit Needy, but then Needy didn't kill Jennifer,
right?
They could have just been demon buddies together.
I think they could have taken the world on,
Yeah.
No, I was legitimately so sad.
Like, what a
Jennifer
duo
died.
they could have been. I know.
So I think
maybe in another universe.
Yeah.
I think really the psyche behind this isn't just, girls having girls drama for, the sake of girl drama. It's a complicated relationship, and they were both going through changes. And they were having difficulty setting up boundaries and, moving into their new identities as older teens. And working through how their relationship was changing. There was also the underlying sexual tension, which added another.
And the demon of it all.
And the demon.
Well, right. Actual Satan.
But it's fair that they were having some struggles with their friendship in this movie.
Well, yeah. I agree. I think
I think they could have moved past it though.
I think so
because
too.
you know, they both kept coming back for each other. You know, it's not like one of them is the only one that kept coming. It's like they had a friendship that kind of worked.
I agree.
And they equally had the frenemy resentments and jealousies and stuff. So I think that they were really kind of parallel.
They could have come together.
So that's my side.
I would have loved to see that. I want to see like a different universe where she didn't die and they just lived their days together.
I mean, it's all magic, right? There has to be a way to bring her back.
Just like they took over, they healed the US government. Like they just did amazing things with their superpowers. I would have loved to have seen this.
And just been like insanely hot while doing it. Because I also think Amanda Seyfried is beautiful.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean,
I know they made her
hit
nerdy,
us with the put glasses and kind of frizzy hair.
Every time. And of course, they're like the most like dad glasses that exist. They were like these thick copper glasses.
They're so round.
Yeah, very round. Like just.
Oh.
But yeah, so there's my psychoanalysis of their relationship. Little different take this week.
Frenemies was a good one though. I honestly don't know why I didn't think about that. Like Frenemy was a good site.
Yes.
Okay. I have a few fun facts. I'll try to skip over any ones that we've already talked about because I feel like we've already mentioned like a few.
Yeah, we sprinkled them in a little.
Yeah.
I just, because I know some because I am obsessed with this movie. So
I feel like it's fun when if like we're talking about it and we know one of the fun facts, I feel like it's fun to just throw it in then.
Right.
So I'll try to skip any that we've talked about. Okay, the first one, the pool scene at the very end was originally going to be outside. Like that's how they like storyboarded it. Like, because that's the scene that took the most amount of planning. Not shocking, you know, there's a lot of action, fighting. But they realized that like they did not have enough control over what they needed. So, you know, weather, the pool temperature, like all of those things. Yeah. So it was like, okay, it's going to be way easier if we can move this inside. So I'm pretty sure it was like someone's pool house that they actually used. It was an empty pool. And that had already, I think, even had some plants and stuff growing in. Like it was a little abandoned. So they just kind of like grew from that. And so like the water was like a nice temperature. Everything was controlled. They said the water was clean, but also they didn't change the water and it took them days to film it. So like on day one, the water was clean.
Right.
Just try not to swallow too much of it and you'll be fine.
I feel like it honestly was good that they did it inside because the scene was so cool. Like you could have done some sort of outdoor pool, but like that scene was so cool.
No, I loved
the setup.
That scene. Like
very memorable.
Yes.
Yeah. They filmed in Vancouver, Canada, British Columbia, but I feel like this one didn't give me filmed in Canada as much as other movies.
It really didn't actually.
I still don't know what it is about random movies that are filmed in Canada where it's like you can just tell. This one didn't have that as much.
I agree.
Let's see. Oh, I watched some like the video diary. So this is like, you know, like Blu-ray bonus content where they just gave a bunch of actors and stuff like a little handheld camera, like while they're filming. And the writer, who I feel like I'm just going to mostly talk about because I love her vibe, Diablo Cody. She wore this like long leopard print jacket with these like heart-shaped glasses, just like all around set while she was like working on the movie. And like someone was even like kind of giving her shit for something, and it's like, oh, I'll just go cry into my Oscar. So like, she like
I love that energy.
Just such a like fun vibe, but it's like she had just come off of Juno where it was like, no, look, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, like I'm legit. Don't fuck with me. I know what I'm doing. I love that.
Love her. Her story is like, I was just going through like her Wikipedia, and it's like fat. Like she, you know, went to college, worked as in like a law firm. I think it's like a clerk or secretary, and then she like accidentally became a stripper, and then she like started getting into writing, and then like randomly wrote Juno, which like super blew up, and then got to become like a filmmaker, right? Like it.
I love stories like that because they feel so hopeful if you don't know what you're doing in your life. Like, I love those stories where you're like, yeah, I started as this that has nothing to do with where I'm at now. Like, I love that character arc.
Yeah. No, it takes
like
time. And like, she's still young. I don't know how old she is, but like, she's still young. And like, she seems like one of those people that has like lived 20 lives, you know, reading her Wikipedia page. None of the scenes or the lines were improvised. Just we all keep talking about how good they all are. That was all her. That was all Diablo Cody. She wrote all of them. They didn't improvise. The actors, when they were doing some sort of Q&A, like there was this, I think it was Megan Fox talking to, maybe it was like the director or the producer or something. It was a day where the screenwriter wasn't in. And she was like reading lines. She's like, what is this joke? Like, what does it mean? And it's like, I don't know what it means. Just read it. Like, Diablo wrote it. It's probably funny. Like, it's like, they're all just like trying to understand what she's writing. It's like, I don't know. Just read it. It's good, I think.
I love it.
I feel like there were a lot of jokes I probably didn't catch. Like, there were a lot of jokes that I caught, but I feel like there were things where I was like, that seems funny, but I don't know why.
No, because there were a lot of subtle jabs in there.
This one, which I could not believe, is that Blake Lively was originally cast to play Jennifer.
Okay, I know that, like, I feel like right now, like, I don't know if y'all are familiar with what's happening with her right now. So I feel like this is a weird time to, like, pick on her. So I mean, absolutely no, like, but I cannot picture, like, that just would not have been Jennifer's
I loved her in Gossip Girl. Yeah, she is Serena. She played that role like perfectly.
Totally different vibe.
This is only Megan Fox,
right? Yeah, I haven't seen Gossip Girl, so I can't speak to that. But yeah, like Blake Lively is just because she's been in these movies where she's just this beautiful, but more like a serene beautiful, not like a firecracker hot, like.
And honestly, the way Diablo described it is like Megan, because she was like, I knew she knew early on it's gonna be Megan Fox. She was like, it's because you have this mystique.
Yes,
like she has this mystique, and she has that effect of like you hate her, but you want her to be your friend.
Yeah,
you know.
Like my first note was, I don't know if I want to be her or be with her.
Yeah,
like she is that.
Yeah.
And honestly, just, Blake Lively is Blake Lively in every role she's in. Like, and that works for everything she's in, but it would have not been a vibe.
It would have been a different movie, and maybe it would have been fine. Yeah. But for the movie that we got,
I'm glad it was.
I can't picture it like that.
No way.
I don't think she could nail the character we ended up with.
Yeah, I agree.
It would have been different. They did talk about a sequel when they were making the movie, but unfortunately, after it bombed, that just quickly went
and she
away.
died, so like
yeah, but you could have like, with Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah, you could do like a different character. She did Diablo Cody in an interview in like I think it was like this year, because I think a lot of people are refinding this movie. I think she was talking about a sequel, and I wrote down her quote. Because I was like, I love her. Okay, she said, I'm not done with Jennifer's body. I just need to find, like, I need a partner who believes in it as much as I do. And that hasn't really happened yet. I just need someone who believes in it and who has $1 billion.
I don't have $1 billion, but if you're looking, I'm your girl.
Yeah, but she needs both.
Yeah,
I believe
and I was like, don't we all? It's like,
I can fulfill half of that.
I just need someone to believe and someone with $1 billion.
Yeah, I don't have the $1 billion.
That's what we need for our podcast. We just need someone to believe in us and $1 billion.
And $1 billion. Yes.
I mean, we don't even need that much. We could just get by with $1 million.
We could.
Yeah, like 100 million. Because really, like $1 billion is so much more than you can even right. So even 100 million would be good.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. For the Black vomit scenes that we get a couple times, they use Hershey's chocolate syrup.
Nice.
That's what all the black sludge is.
Oh, okay.
And so it was kind of like a part practical, part CGI, but they had this like pump thing that would then be connected. I think it may have been in like Megan Fox's like mouth, where she could like control it to like turn on next to her. But like they were like, yeah, like we can't control where this thing goes. So, like whenever she's, you know, projectile vomiting, it's like they don't know where it's going. It's just gonna come at you.
I mean, that's true to just how projectile vomit
like
works.
just the scene of Needy cleaning it up later that night was like you could just feel the despair and the drama happening. Like
there's just so much, and she's like cleaning up with like a rag,
and it just every time you try to clean it, you make it worse somehow.
It just kind of moves.
Yeah,
her hands the next day are just black. Like her nails look awful.
I know.
Oh my gosh. The movie title came from the song Jennifer's Body by Courtney Love, which I'd never heard of before. I didn't realize that was a song.
This is new information to me.
Yeah.
I knew it was a song, but
I'm going to need to look it up.
So I'm pretty sure Courtney Love gave her permission to do it, and then she even used another one of their band songs as I think the end credits. Mm-hmm. But I when you look it up, I think she was mad that they didn't like give them more credit for the name. I was like, oh, you should reference the band more or thing. It's like, look, I think this movie was getting enough hate when it came out.
Like, leave them alone.
I think that was the least of their worries. Like this kind of bombed. Like, do you really
let it lie?
Want them to throw your name more into it?
Right.
It's kind of my thought. That's just me, but it seemed like the least of their worries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was curious if either of you would end up watching the director's or the uncut version, but I think we all watched the regular version.
Mm-hmm.
But so apparently the director's cut, it's only 5 minutes longer.
Oh.
But there are 70 alterations. So it's 5 minutes longer, but because they make like small tweaks throughout the movie, like just like little differences. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, someone out there created an entire comparison. There's so little that I really do think you should just watch it.
Yeah.
And I saw some people online on like Reddit say that that one was maybe better. So I'm kind of curious to watch it. I know none of us watched it because that one does not start by saying hell is a teenage girl.
Oh, okay.
Which I feel like that's a good line.
I know.
That's a good line.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's an unrated version. And again, horrendous advertising because it's just Megan Fox in the same school uniform, but they wrote like unrated in blood across like her abs.
I'm remembering that.
Yeah. And guess what? No additional like nudity or anything like that. No, like it's just kind of a different take on it, slightly different editing, a tiny amount of scene. So yeah, it's horrendous advertising.
Yeah.
But I've heard it's good. So this might be worth like a rewatch.
Okay.
With the unrated. And we can always include the link too of the person I found who did a full breakdown of all 70 differences and where they are in the movie. But it really is, it's like, oh, this scene, and it's like 0.7 seconds longer in this scene, and like small.
Oh my gosh, that's like they have too much time on their hands.
I know, right?
I just feel like for a movie like this that like one has been around for a while, and like two has developed quite like, I don't even know if you can call it a cult following because so many people have found it.
Right.
I feel like you get more fun stuff like this where it's someone's like, I will sit down and break down all the differences.
Totally.
Yeah.
The screenwriter, my favorite person, Kelba Cody, makes a cameo. She's a bartender at the bar in that like first scene.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
Okay.
I think she might also be like in the bar, like holding a drink, and then later she's the bartender.
Nice.
She didn't love it. She was like, I just had to stand there. That was so boring. It's like filming a movie takes a very long time. Like it's like to get that, it's like that's a multi-day process of having to stand behind a bar.
I think being a movie actor would be so boring. Like,
I know.
Hard too, and I don't have the talent, but
you would have to have patience for sure.
Yeah. I feel like we've talked about this before, but it's like, I think that's one of those jobs that seems a lot harder than people make it out to be.
Agree.
Okay, for just how this movie came to be. So the screenwriter, Diablo Cody, after coming off of Juno, she always knew she wanted to make a horror movie. She wasn't allowed to watch them when she was a kid, so she was like, I want to make one. So she knew she wanted to make one. She knew it wanted to be crazy, female focused, about female friendship, and about a girl that eats boys.
Mission accomplished.
Love it.
Like, these are the things I want.
That's how you live your dream,
Yeah.
So I think originally when she set out to like write it, she said it was a little bit darker, more like traditional slasher movie. But like the comedy just like kept sneaking in while she wrote it. So finally she decided to just kind of like lean into it. Just let there be more.
So perfectly balanced because it's not like a cheesy comedy.
Yeah.
Movie,
Somehow they get all these like zingers in, but it's not, at least to me, like, I don't know, maybe that's just my taste, but I feel like it wasn't too much.
No. Agree.
Yeah.
I think the jokes and stuff, like, it fit naturally. For Needy's role, and that one I can actually see is like, I don't know, I could see other people doing it. I think they had like Emma Stone come in, and then Brie Larson come in and like read for it. Before they went with Amanda Seyfried. That one I feel like is not as key as Megan Fox, but I feel like she did a good job with it.
Oh yeah, I think she was a really good cast for it. I think Emma Stone would have been too like
Emma Stoney,
big of a personality for that role. I think
I could see Brie Larson.
I could see Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I talked about it being marketed poorly. It tested really poorly because, again, shocking. The screenwriter said her theory was that they really brought in like two groups of people. One, young men, age 18 to 24, because for some reason that's who they think only goes to the movies, and people who liked Juno.
Oh, what? No.
Which is just, it's like, that's a different movie.
Yeah, no.
That's a completely... You don't tell people, oh, this is the same person who wrote Juno. You liked that one?
Because you go into it expecting Juno. Like,
like a cute, like, no, these are completely different movies. Like, not at all close. And she remembered getting, because, when they do these screenings, they ask people for feedback. And she remembers getting a note that said, needs more boobs, spelled BEWBS.
Nice. Boobs.
So these were the people they were bringing in.
These more
to test this movie.
Oh my gosh.
High quality feedback.
Like, oh my gosh. Let's see. Okay, my last fun fact is that Megan Fox on multiple occasions said that this was her favorite movie that she's ever worked on.
Okay.
And I love that for her. Because again, I feel like she needed a comeback, and I know this movie came out a long time ago, but like people are starting to watch it now, and I feel like it's getting the justice that she deserves and this movie deserves.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, that's the last of my fun facts.
Okay.
I love getting to like look back on a movie with insight years later.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go watch that interview because,
Yeah, I have it. So it's in my background fun facts. I have two links. One is that one, and then the other one is the 70 alterations made.
Oh, well, I mean, I think everyone knows the direction my rating will be, but
do you want to start us off?
I'd say. So yeah, here on Spooky Sips, we don't do stars, we do sips. So out of 5, here's where we're at. Here's what's hard for me. I love this movie. But I also don't, it's a different kind of horror for me.
It is.
Like some of my highest rated movies are like the really dark, disturbing horrors. This is not that. Like, it's not quite campy, but yeah.
It's a little campy.
Right. So I think for me, I give it a solid 4. Like, it's a really high one for me. I think you should watch it. I enjoy watching it every time I do. Like, it's a good time to watch this movie, but it's more of like that style of horror, not like spooky, like scary horror. So
That's acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think for me, at first I would have given it like a 2. At first I didn't really like it, but watching it the second time, I liked it a lot more. And even after the discussion, of course, as always, I like it more after our discussion. But I think it's a solid one. I think it is one you should watch. I'm gonna give it a 3. Yep.
Yeah. I really liked this movie, but I like horror comedies, like in general. Like I like, Cabin in the Woods. I even like all like the scary movies, like the like very like funny. So like I like horror comedies. So I feel like for this one, for me, it's like a solid 4. Again, I was planning on watching half, but I couldn't stop. Nice. I was like, I'm just gonna keep playing, keep watching, and I watched the entire thing. So I feel like clearly I enjoyed it if I was up until 1 a.m. watching it.
Yeah, that's a sign of a good movie.
Yeah, solid 4 for me.
Nice.
Too many good singers.
I know. As I'm looking back over in my notes, there's one that I didn't mention. It was at the beginning. They were talking about how low the genes were. Like, your genes are so low, I can see your womb. And I freaking loved that line.
Yeah, that was a good one.
They're being like, wait, did she say womb? One of the other ones I liked is like, we talked about Jennifer just like not caring about when everyone died.
Right.
But it's like they're talking about it and like Needy's like, people died, Jennifer. It's all over the news. And Jennifer's like, oh, anyone we know? And she's like, everyone. We know everyone that died.
I love it. He just has that I don't give a fuck vibe, you know?
Totally.
Oh, all right. So next time on Spooky Sip, because we're giving you one every week this month, we're going in a real different direction, you guys. So get ready. We are watching Frankenweenie.
I'm so
we're watching the short.
The short.
The short, yes, not the full length movie.
When you look it up, it is the one from the 80s. It was like 1984, I think. Yeah. And it's only like 29 minutes. So make sure that you do the short because they made it into a full length movie not that long ago. So yeah, we're going real cute.
I'm excited for it. I didn't realize it was a short.
I am so excited.
I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I'm excited.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen it, get watching, get sipping. We may have to like pair it with a hot dog. And we'll see you next time on Spooky Sips.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
So cute.
Maybe we should make little teeny weenies.
I mean, right? Like, I kind of feel like we have to.
Thank you for listening to Spooky Sips. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you're listening. To stay up to date on all the spooky things we're up to, follow us on Facebook and Instagram at SpookySips_podcast. And if you want to help support the podcast, consider buying us a coffee, or really a cocktail. We are completely independent, so every little bit goes a long way to keeping our podcast running and improving. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.